All right, looks like we're going to go live in a minute here. As soon as I get some people in. One person, that's good enough for me. All right, welcome back to WMMA Scene Now with your host, Chuck Stevens. Welcome to episode number 102 of the WMMA Scene Report, our semi-regular show where we go over everything going on within the world of women's divisions of mixed martial arts, news, reviews, previews, rankings updates, just about everything. It happens in this usually hour that this show takes. So we got a lot of fights to talk about, a lot of news to cover. So let's dive straight into it. First up, we're going to go to where we always start with, well, we didn't last week, but where we usually start, the reviews from last week, or the results rather. First up, we have on Friday was Hexagon 1 coming from Paris, France, had actually only one ladies bout. The first bout here, Jade Duran versus Alice Michalkiewicz. Apparently that bout was canceled. And then at 100 at flyweight, Flora Hani there on the right-hand side defeated Stephanie Page via split decision. Hani climbed to 4-1. Page climbed to 5 or fell to 5-2. I have no idea how you can watch those fights if you want to go back and watch them. What is up, Leon? Leon EU in the building. And also on Friday night, Combate Global, headlined by a ladies strawweight bout, where Isis Verbeek on the right-hand side there defeated Carolyn Taz Gallardo via unanimous decision. Verbeek climbed to 3-1. Gallardo climbed to 4-4. That was a good fight. If you haven't seen it, you definitely missed out on a good one. Hopefully Combate will upload it to YouTube at some point. But Verbeek just very tactical, very pinpoint in her striking. Muay Thai style. It's like more of a Dutch kickboxer really than Muay Thai. But Gallardo more of the brawler. And Gallardo had her moments because she was able to just brawl her way through some of the technicality of Verbeek and get in some action. But Verbeek was able to just generally employ her game over a longer point. What's good, Judy V? Simba Trey, you look new. Betting the house on Miesha. Please don't let me down, girl. Leon says, what's up, Judy? Hey, Judy, I tried to message you on Facebook, so I don't know if you haven't checked your messages yet. But I did try to get a hold of you. Then on Saturday, we had Valor Underground. Shannon Galgary on the left-hand side there defeated Emily King via submission due to rear naked choke. 3 minutes, 49 seconds of the third round. Galgary climbed to 5-6. King fell to 5-5. I don't know where you can watch the video. I think they did that on pay-per-view. I didn't buy it. But if you go to the pictures on Facebook, Valor Underground, for the most part, it looked like Emily King was winning and then must have gotten caught in the choke at the end. I don't know what happened there. But if you go by the pictures, it looked like King was winning, but pictures are deceiving. And that closes out a trilogy between those two. And then also on Saturday, UFC 264 had two ladies bouts at flyweight. Jennifer Maia on the left-hand side there defeated Jessica I via unanimous decision. Maia climbed to 19-7. I fell to 15-10. That wasn't a bad fight. I think Jennifer Maia let it get a little bit too close for comfort. I mean, she definitely let it, I think the fight was closer than it probably should have been, but that's just how Jessica I fights, though. She's going to give just about everyone, a tough fight. I mean, she's not going to give an easy fight to anyone. She's only been finished one time, and that was when she got head kicked by Valentina Shevchenko, which, that was scary. And then up at bantamweight, Rene Aldana, who's got shirt on tonight. Rene Aldana defeated Yana Kunitskaya via TKO due to ground and pound. 4 minutes, 35 seconds of the first round. Aldana climbed to 13-6. Kunitskaya fell to 14-6. Aldana, man, that left hook, got to watch out for it. You can't just run straight into it. Can't circle into it. You got to watch out for that hook from Aldana. I mean, she was in very good form for the most part. I mean, I thought she was getting hit a little bit too much by the kicks from Kunitskaya, and then Kunitskaya just abandoned them. But I did a full review on that fight, so please go check that out if you haven't checked it out yet. And that is it for this weekend's fights. So let's check out some comments here. Yeah, Donna looked great. Everyone's saying hi to each other. Phil Anderson, good to see you again. Leon, do you think Jessica could cut her? It's possible. I don't know, man. If they haven't cut her by now, it's hard to imagine Jessica I ever getting cut at this point. Judy, you haven't had time to check Facebook. No problem. Hey, no hurry. I see you just you're packing for a move, so whenever it's convenient for you, because it's not going anywhere. So here we go. All right, so let's talk into the news. Bunch of news this past week. A lot of it actually happened or just got released like right after the stream ended or while I was streaming last Thursday. So let's get into it. First up, FAC 9 goes down July 30th in Independence, Missouri, and that's going to air live on Fight Pass. They have, I believe this is a flyweight bout. Alexa Culp coming in 1-1, taking on Diamond Long coming in at 4-4. Alexa Culp has fought for Invicta twice now, so that's where both of her pro fights come in. Not a bad prospect there if you want to go check her out. So it should be on Fight Pass. And then UFC has a fight night scheduled for later this month, the 24th. They have booked a strawweight bout. Diana Belbita coming in 13-6, taking on Hannah Goldie coming in at she really only 5-1. That's what I have written down. Maybe that's wrong. But Belbita, who I thought had been cut by now, apparently moving down from flyweight to strawweight. Then Octagon 26 goes down that same day, July 24th in Praha, Czech Republic. They added a flyweight bout. Teresa Bleda coming in at 3-0, taking on Edna Oliveira, coming in at 10-7-1. I'll tell you what, that is a lot of experience for Teresa Bleda to be coming in. I've heard rumors that they have a hard time finding. I've heard rumors that Octagon has had a hard time finding fights for her. That could explain why she's taken on an 18-fight veteran in only her 4th fight. But that makes 4 ladies bouts for Octagon 26 going down July 24th. So I'm definitely going to be covering that video or that event before it goes down. Then UFC has a fight night scheduled for October 16th. A strawweight bout between Ariana Conalosi coming in at 13-2, taking on Estela Nunes coming in at 7-1. Estela Nunes, if you're not familiar with her, she was actually a 1 championship veteran, challenged Angela Lee for the title there. And then she signed to the UFC, and then like the very first time she got a sample collected by USADA, she popped hot. And still maintains her innocence. But I guess she did like what, a year and a half, 2 years. So she's ready to make her pro date or UFC debut, and she's taking on, the ball of muscle that is Ariana Conalosi. Oh, we got a super chat. Phil Anderson, thanks for the DVD. Well, thank you. You just about paid for half of it. So thank you for that, Phil Anderson. Then UFC has a fight night going down on August 31st. They booked a flyweight bout. Courtney Casey coming in 9-9, taking on Liana Jojua coming in 8-4. Got to think that this is Courtney Casey's UFC career on the line here. I mean, she's 9-9. Her record has dropped down to 500. I can't see them letting her stay with if she loses to Jojua. But Liana Jojua, this is probably her UFC career on the line too. She's what, 1-1, 1-2 now? 1-2. So yeah, it could be her career on the line as well. And then they also have a fight night going down on October 9th. A strawweight main event between Marina Rodriguez coming in at 14-1-2, and Mackenzie Dern coming in at 11-1. She did a video on that one. I'm looking forward to that one. I'm glad they got that one rebooked for later on. They wanted that for this month, and Marina Rodriguez is like, and her camp were like, no, we're not trying to fight so soon after taking a late notice main event already. We'll get to that in a second, Judy. Let's see. Then, Bellator. So they announced the release of like 18 fighters. Well, I think like 17, because one fighter mentioned that he spoke to the promotion and he's still signed with them. But Bellator released, a number of fighters, including 4 female fighters. At flyweight, they released, Beck Rawlings and Heather Hardy. Heather Hardy, I was more surprised she was still on a roster, and Beck had already talked about possibly going back to bare knuckle. And then at featherweight, Amanda Bell, which I think at least 1 or 2 people in the chat predicted a Bell would get cut with a loss. And then Olga Rubin, which is a surprise. I mean, she's on a 2-fight skid, but you got to remember, one of those fights was a title challenge. Granted, she hasn't fought in a while, but COVID was in the way. So I don't know why they're cutting Olga Rubin. She's one of the decent featherweight fighters on their roster. I don't know. And then Fusion Fight League has an event on July 31st. They added a 140-pound grappling bout. Barb Cisnolovic taking on Roxanne Modafferi. So Roxy looking to get a grappling bout in this month because she is taking on Tatiana Suarez. I think I mentioned that on the last event here. Maybe. But yeah, she's scheduled to take on Tatiana Suarez at some point soon. So she's looking to get in a grappling bout beforehand. Not a bad idea. And then Invicta FC featherweight champ Pam Sorensen asked for and received her release from Invicta. And then, as soon as she made that announcement, Bellator announced that they had signed her. So Pam Sorensen getting a call up to Bellator. So they dropped 2 featherweights, but added 1 to make up for it. And then the flyweight bout between Tyler Santos and Mandy Bohm in the UFC has been, moved back from August 14th to September 4th. I guess that whole August 14th event has been canceled because it has no bouts on it right now. And then UFC 266 goes down September 25th. They announced the flyweight title bout. It is official now. Valentina Shevchenko will be defending against challenger Lauren Murphy. So Lauren Murphy's getting her well-deserved title shot. Good for her. She's earned it. Just don't ask me to be excited about it. It's going to be a beatdown, I think. I mean, I like Lauren Murphy. She's one of those people, she's so contrarian and so hard to like that you can't help but cheer for her anyway. At least a contrarian like me can't help but cheer for her. So, I mean, I'm going to be cheering for her, but I don't give her a shot against Shevchenko. And then Deep Jewels announced Deep Jewels 34 is going to go down September 4th. That's a Saturday. They announced 4 fights. So I did a video for the 5 fights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They announced 5 fights. I did a video for it, including the first 4 fights, and then the very next day they announced the 5th fight. So they have an atomweight bout, Mizuki Furuse versus Nisei Mizuki Oshiro. A flyweight bout, Miko Nirvana taking on Kate Lotus. A microweight bout, Aya Murakami taking on Kyoka. A lightweight bout, Taya taking on Po-Chan Z. So Po-Chan Z is making a quick return. And then a strawweight bout, Tomoko Inoue versus Eru Takebayashi. That's a quick turnaround for Takebayashi too. She just fought on the last event. So that's your news for this week. So a lot of fight announcements in a short week. So let's see. We got some comments here. Judy V, you're picking Velasquez, Chuck. It would be great if Denise gets the W, but I doubt it. A lot of people apparently are picking Keelholtz, though. Loser here gets cut for sure. Phil Anderson says rooting for Dern, but it's going to be a hard fight. Yeah, she's got to get inside to get those takedowns. So Judy says Dern and Rodriguez is up and up. Can't pick yet. Leon, yep, they did. Bellator did sign Pam. Judy says Roxy is awkward, but she does her business. Yeah, I mean that herky jerky striking it works for her. It allows her to get inside and do her job. Leon says Marina, who also beat Amanda, left Bellator and signed to PFL for next season. Marina who? Not Maknakina. You talking about Marina Maknakina? That's news to me. I didn't hear that. Judy V says Valentina for a sure W. Yeah, that's going to be the lock of the night. Simba Trey says crazy how women's MMA actually got me into MMA. Wow. Got me into MMA. I'm late bloomer, but glad I came. Love this sport. Well, hey, welcome to the scene. So women's MMA got you into the sport. That is awesome. I actually got into the women's divisions the same year I started watching, which was 2005. I bought a box set of King of the Cage DVDs, and they actually had a women's bout between Debbie Purcell and some blonde lady whose name escapes me, and that got me into it. And Debbie Purcell, she was like a very important pioneer for the women in the U.S. back then. She ran a website for years called Fighter Chicks. I think it's gone now. But basically, it was like the fighter database for women's fighters. So Marina Maknakina left Bellator. That's surprising. Yeah, Maknakina. Phil Anderson says, with Dern and Hebos fighting common opponents, do you think if Dern loses and Hebos wins, they'll fight again? I think Hebos would have to make a statement win against Vierna to get a shot at a top 5 opponent. Simba Trey says we need Amanda versus Valentina 3. I disagree, man. After watching their last fight, that's like taking a sleeping pill. They're just too evenly matched up for it to be exciting. So let's move into – that should have been deleted. So let's talk rankings updates. Let's see. Let me bring them back up here. Should be big enough. So first up, UFC at strawweight. Mackenzie Dern moved up 1 spot over Marina Rodriguez, which just shows you they're pushing Dern over Rodriguez because there's no reason she should have moved up 1 spot like that for no reason in the past week. At flyweight, Viviane Araújo moved up 1 spot. Jessica I moved down 1 spot. Jessica I should probably move down more than 1 spot. I mean, that's what, her 4th straight loss? She shouldn't even be top 10 with 4 straight losses. Even though she did lose to the higher ranked Jennifer Maia. She shouldn't be ranked that high. And then Miranda Maverick moved up 1 spot over Macy Barber. So much like over on strawweight, it seems like they're going to start pushing Miranda Maverick. And Macy Barber might be on her way out unless she gets a good win here. Leon asks, why is Felice still ranked? I like Felice too, but you're right. Why is she still ranked? I don't know. I mean, I guess with the UFC rankings, they are so slow to move people, to remove them. And the UFC has no hard cut rules saying you have to fight within a certain amount of space or get removed. So it's just like fighters will just stay on there forever unless fighters definitely do enough to get ranked above them and then they get forced off. Then bantamweight. Yana Kunitskaya moved down 1 spot to number 6, moving Juliana Pena up from 6 to 5. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, Kunitskaya did just lose. And, anytime someone challenges for a title, they're probably going to move up 1 or 2 spots closer to the fight. So that's just this move is just on pattern for the UFC. Judy V says Miranda is good. Yeah, she's a prospect for sure. So Bellator, since we have Bellator event, I'm not sure when these were updated last because I think this move already happened like last week. But Denise Kielholtz moved up from 4 to 3, moving Conor Watanabe down from 3 to 4. The website didn't say when these were updated. So, and then just getting a look at featherweight, since there's also a featherweight card tomorrow night. Arlene Blenko is sitting there at number 2. Her opponent, Diana Silva, is unranked. So if Silva wins, man, she's going to take a big bounce up. So that is it for the rankings updates. So let's move into the fights for this weekend. Leon says, I don't think she should be ranked that high either, Leon. I mean, she hasn't fought in, what is it, close to 2 years now? So she shouldn't be ranked at all after being out that long. And yeah, a lot of her move up was push more than anything else. So first up, on Friday in Poland, we have Armia Fight Night 10. 1 ladies bout. Daria Rahil taking on Claudia Segula. Segula coming in 1-1. Daria Rahil coming in at 3-0-1. If I didn't mention yet, this is at bantamweight. I'm not going to go through all of this because there's a lot of fights to cover. But I just want to let everyone know that this fight is happening. How can you watch this? Probably check Facebook to see for Armia Fight Night to see if you want to watch this. And then also on Friday, IAF Fight Night, and it's I Am Fighter Fight Night number 1 in the Czech Republic has 2 ladies bouts. First up, Petra Kastkova taking on Aitana Alvarez at flyweight. Alvarez coming in 1-0. Kastkova coming in at 4-3. Probably going to be a win for the Czech fighter Kastkova there on the left. And then I think it's the main event, is a featherweight bout. Martina Jindrova coming in at 3-0 on the right-hand side there, taking on Tamiris Vidal from Brazil, coming in at 3-1. Vidal on the left there. Trying to remember. Jindrova's name sounds familiar, but I don't know why, because I know I've never seen any of her fights. I just thought I'd include this since it has 2 ladies bouts. Then Friday night in the U.S., LFA 111, their first ever event in Brazil, has 3 ladies bouts. First up, at bantamweight, Gabriela Hermogenes taking on Quayla Braga. I'm probably butchering these names. Hermogenes coming in at 5-1. Braga coming in at 2-0. Let's see, 34 years old for Braga. Hermogenes is 27. Let me change this here. Let's see, height roughly the same, reach roughly the same. Your guess is as good as mine. I just am not able to keep up with what's going on down there in Brazil. Probably Hermogenes, she is the more experienced fighter. I mean, Braga is only 2-0. I do like Braga's hair, though. I don't know why. I like her hairstyle. And then so no pick on that one, or probably any of these. At strawweight, Michelle Oliveira coming in at 2-0, taking on Stephanie Luciano also coming in at 2-0. Her nickname is Rondinha. You can probably figure out what that means. Oliveira coming in at 26. Luciano coming in at 21. Height roughly the same. No reach available for Luciano. Again, no pick, but it's LFA. It's on Fight Pass, so no way I'm not going to cover these. Although these fights are going on the same time as Bellator, so probably not going to be watching these live. And then also at strawweight, Yasmin Castaño taking on Maristela Alves. Both coming in at 4-0. Alves on the right-hand side there is 29 years to Castaño's 24. Don't have a height or reach available for Castaño. Alves is 5 feet 2 inches, 158 centimeters tall. Again, I just don't know enough about them to make a pick comfortably. Then also on Friday night, talking like late Friday night, Combate Global has a strawweight bout. Let's see, Elizabeth Avila on the right-hand side taking on Daniela Hernandez. Avila coming in 0-1. Hernandez coming in at 1-0. Let's see, Avila's elder by 3 years, 29 to 26. She's the taller fighter, 5'3", 160 centimeters to this says 4'11", 150 centimeters for Hernandez. So either I have the mixed up by picture, which is possible. I'm not sure which one's which now. Neither of them look like their Tapology picture, so apologies for that. So then we get into one of the weekend's big events, Bellator 262. Goes down Friday night. Shout out to Quinto Quarto for this picture that I got off of Google Images. Please don't copyright strike me. Oh, I forgot. There is one. I forgot to make a thumbnail. The first ladies bout of the evening is a flyweight bout between Diana Avsaragova taking on Gabriela Golfin. Avsaragova coming in 3-0. Golfin coming in at 2-2. Let's see. Golfin's the elder fighter, 29 years to 22 for Avsaragova. No other stats available for Golfin for some reason on Tapology. Avsaragova stands 5'7", 169 centimeters and has a reach of 65.5 inch, 166 centimeters. So if you don't remember Avsaragova, she's the one that came in and knocked out Tara Graf in like 38 seconds, something like that. 29 seconds of the very first round. And she's not even a striker. She's a wrestler. So a lot of promise from her. And plus, a lot of people paid attention to her because she's like very beautiful. Golfin, I've seen both of her fights for CFFC that she lost to Erin Blanchfield and then Jasmine Jasudavicius. She's a tough girl, but she hasn't fought in a year and a half. Whereas Avsaragova just fought, what? Just under 3 months ago. I'm going to go with Avsaragova to win this one. So then we move on to the image in the picture. Arlene Blencoe taking on Diana Silva at featherweight. This is on the main card. Anger Fist Blencoe coming in at 13-8. Silva coming in at 9-6. Both ladies coming in off of a loss. Blencoe to Chris Cyborg in a title challenge via rear naked choke submission 8 months ago. Silva just fought 2.5 months ago, dropping a split decision to Julia Budd that a lot of people thought that she should have gone her way. Let's see. Blenko's the elder fighter, 38 years to 30. Silva's slightly taller, 5'7", 170 centimeters to 5'5", 165 centimeters for Blenko. Reach advantage as well for Silva, 68.5 inches, 174 centimeters for Silva, 67 inches, 170 centimeters for Blenko. I'm taking Arlene Blenko here. I see this fight largely staying on the feet, and from what I've seen of Silva from the fight against Bud, Blenko is definitely the more polished striker on the feet. Very curious to see. Blenko stayed in the U.S. and trained at Jackson Winklejohn for this fight. Very curious to see how that works out for her. I just hope she doesn't go full Jackson Wink and it turns this fight into a snoozer, because Blenko is usually a fairly fun fighter to watch. But if she goes full Jackson Wink, then this could turn into a very boring fight. But as for right now, got to go with Arlene Blenko. Then we move on to the main event. Juliana Velasquez taking on Denise Kielholtz, flyweight championship. The champ, Velasquez, coming in undefeated at 11-0. Miss Dynamite Kielholtz coming in at 6-2. Velasquez coming off the win over Alimale McFarland for the title 6 months ago, or almost 7. And Kielholtz defeated Kate Jackson 9 months ago. Let's see. Velasquez, the elder fighter, 34 to 32 for Kielholtz. Lot taller, 5'6", 167 centimeters to Kielholtz, 5'3", 160 centimeters. Reach isn't as spread apart as the height, though. 67.5 inch, 171 centimeters for Velasquez. 66 inches, 168 centimeters for Kielholtz. So I did a full breakdown on this fight by itself. Please go check that out after the stream. But I'm going to go with Juliana Velasquez. I just think that, her superior reach and use of reach, like she knows how to use her height and reach well. Should be able to keep Kielholtz on the outside. Now, Kielholtz can offset that with her speed. She packs some power in her hands. Mostly, I think the power mostly comes from just being fast and accurate. The speed and accuracy combined. But I also think that if it goes to the ground, Velasquez is just stronger. She doesn't usually go to the ground. She usually keeps on the feet, whereas Kielholtz tends to rely on very fast finishes on the ground. But I'm going to go with Velasquez to win this one. But like I said in the preview video, 70-30 on this one. Let's take a break for some chat comments. So T wants to know, what are the scheduled dates for the One Championship Women's Grand Prix? Winner takes on Angela Lee for the atomweight title. So the Grand Prix hasn't even started yet. They had to postpone it because of lockdown measures in Singapore. So before they even can start it, or before they can, announce when the winner faces Angela Lee, they got to even get that Grand Prix started. It was supposed to go down in November, was when the winner takes on Angela Lee, but considering the first round was supposed to happen in May, and it's now July and hasn't started yet, your guess is as good as mine there, T. But good question. Leon says either Avsargova early stoppage or a Bellator setup fight gone wrong like Loretta versus Guy. That could very well happen. Like I said, Gabrielle Golfin is a tough cookie. So, when she lost to Jasmine Jasuda Vicious was beating the piss out of her in the clinch. So, and still had a hard time putting her away. So, she's not easy to put away. Leon also says, I have Blenkow knockout, either round 1 or 2. Arlene has the speed and power advantage. So I would have said decision, but could see a TKO there. Judy V says, Velasquez versus Kielholtz stare down was something else. Neither wanted to give in. So I just saw that right before I started the stream. Yeah, Velasquez turned away first, but only because she was being pulled away. Leon has Denise with early stoppage win. I don't know why. I just have a feeling. I could be horribly wrong, but I'm going to take a chance on Denise because she has nothing to lose. Well, she has a 4-fight winning streak and a chance at the title to lose. But yeah, if it's Denise, it's going to happen like early, like either early in the fight or early in the round or early in the ground exchanges. Like Denise relies on early, fast finishes, whereas Velasquez can finish late. She can finish early, usually finishes late. But I see the longer each round goes on, the more I see it going to Velasquez, and the longer the fight goes on, I see it going towards Velasquez. And then T says, thank you. Explain why I haven't heard any updates on the Grand Prix. So yeah, if you don't, I mean, onefc.com, but I mean, supposedly they have an event scheduled for later this month, but I doubt that goes on either. And they have booked some fights. Like I know Victoria Lee has a fight booked, or at least an opponent named, but who knows when that's actually going to happen. So let's get back into the fights. So we're going to skip the no, actually we're going to Saturday. Saturday has TFC Dream 7, one ladies bout. And they don't even have it on why don't they have this one listed? Okay, so Tapology doesn't have this one listed, but it's did it get canceled? No. Kim Soo-yeon taking on Han Boram. So both ladies, I believe, are making their pro debut. But I wanted to highlight this one. TFC Dream is run by the TFC Top Fighting Championship promotion. Their dream events are mostly like beginner fights or fighters, you know, like at the start of their career. And trying to find a link here for this. But Kim Soo-yeon has a YouTube channel that I don't know how many subscribers she has, but she has several videos with like over 1 million views. Her channel is dedicated to combat sports, and she interviews a lot of fighters. She's a kickboxer, talked to a lot of fighters. She has a video where she gets to spar with Sahi Ham. I'm trying to find it here real quick so I can put a link in the chat. You can go check out her channel. I'll just pull it up here real quick. But I'm going to put the link in. Definitely go check out her channel. One second to find this. Here it is. Let me turn down the volume. It's called Sonia Jumak. If you can read Korean at all. But or I'll just put a link to this one video. She gets to spar Sahi Ham. And this video has like over 500,000 views. So go check this out and check out her channel. I'll put the link in the chat down there. But that's really all I had to say about this fight at TFC Dream. It's on YouTube and Africa TV if you want to watch TFC Dream 7. It's going to be on like early in the morning in the US, but it should be up for replay afterwards. And then LFA 112 goes down Saturday night. So LFA having 2 events in one weekend, and this is the second Brazil show. They have a flyweight bout. Brenna Cardoza on the left taking on Vania Caceres. Cardoza coming in at 4-0. Caceres coming in at 3-0 or 3-2. No other stats for Caceres. Cardoza is 27 years old, stands 5'7", 170 centimeters tall. No idea on either of these two ladies. And then they have a strawweight bout. Elaine Lopez taking on Diana Souza on the right there. Lopez on the left is 4-0. Souza coming in at 7-1-1. So big experience factor for Souza. No age for Lopez. Souza is 25. She's 5'3", 160 centimeters to Lopez's 5'1", 154 centimeters. Again, I don't know these ladies well enough on these two LFA events, but it'll be on Fight Pass on Saturday night. I don't think it starts till like later, so but most of you will probably be watching UFC anyway. Speaking of the UFC, I'm actually going to skip over that one. We'll come back to the UFC, but Deep Osaka Impact 2021 goes down Sunday morning. Has 4 ladies bouts. Let's see. We have Aoi Kuriyama taking on Kano Kagaya at flyweight. Kuriyama on the left there is 2-2. Kagaya is 1-0. Kuriyama's 26 years old. No age for Kagaya. Kuriyama's the taller fighter, 5'6", 168 centimeters to Kagaya's 5'3", 159 centimeters. I'm going to go with Aoi Kuriyama on the left-hand side there to win this one. More experience. She's 5 better fighters. Although, I mean, she's lost to better fighters, too. But yeah, we're going to go with Aoi Kuriyama on the left-hand side there. Then Moeri Suda taking on Tomoko Hida at 108 pounds, 49 kilogram bout there. Moeri Suda coming in at 1-2. Hida on the right coming in 0-1. Wow. Talk about an age difference there. Tomoko Hida on the right-hand side there is 37. Moeri Suda is 16 years old. Hida is the taller fighter, 5'5", 165 centimeters to Suda's 5'2", 157 centimeters. I'm going with Moeri Suda there. The age factor is going to play a big part. Also, because this is in Osaka, Moeri Suda picked up a win in her last fight there in Osaka. It's her hometown. I think she'll be energized fighting in her hometown to pick up a win. Then we have probably my favorite name of any MMA fighter. Panakata Minori on the left there, taking on Ira Koga. Panakata Minori coming in at 1-3. Koga making her pro debut. Minori hasn't won since her pro debut almost 3 years ago. She's on a 3-fight losing streak now. Koga looks like she's 2-0 as an amateur, both within the last year. Minori is 34 years old, stands 5'3", 161 centimeters. Koga, I have no stats available for her. She looks young, though. Guess is as good as mine on this one. But I'm going to go with Panakata Minori just because I like her name. Panakata Minori. I don't know what that means. And then one last one. Asumi Komatsuzaki on the left there, taking on Minari Matsumoto. Komatsuzaki. Both ladies are making their pro debut, and that's really all I can tell you. Komatsuzaki on the left there is 2-0 as an amateur. Actually just won an amateur bout 2 weeks ago. So she's got momentum coming into this fight for her pro debut. So yeah, guess is as good as mine on this one. But that is Deep Jewels Osaka Impact 2021. That comes early Sunday morning. I think it starts at midnight on the East Coast in the U.S. Richard Cruz says Denise can easily drop to 115. Yeah, so I think she has fought at 115 pounds before in kickboxing. T says, what do you think the chances are for a Rin Nakai versus Miesha Tate rematch? 0. Rin Nakai, she is very hard she is known to be hard to deal with as far as like for the promotions dealing with her management. And from what I understand, though, she's under a new management company, so that could change. But unless she puts some wins together, I don't see the UFC picking her back up. And I don't see her ever fighting at bantamweight again. Flyweight, possibly. But I think if she really wanted to, she could lose some weight, drop down to strawweight, where she'd have a much better chance. Because she's only 5 feet 2 inches tall. But as far as a Tate versus Nakai rematch, big donut hole. That's the link for the channel there for Suyeon Kim. Leon says, I don't think that should be legal, to be honest. I'm guessing you're talking about the 16-year-old fighting. I mean, maybe not, but it happens a lot more than you would think. That's why I like when One Championship and talks about Victoria Lee being a big deal because she's 1-0 at 16. It's like, yeah, but there's fighters that are like have more fights than that at 16, 17 years old. So, and then Phil Anderson, has Aaron Blanchfield's fight been rebooked? So Aaron is scheduled against Sarah Alpar. Taking Alpar on 9/18, it looks like. So I think it got moved from the 25th of September to September 18th. So moving on to the final event of the evening here, UFC Fight Night, Makhachev versus Moises has 2 ladies bouts. First up, strawweight bout, Amanda Lemos taking on Montserrat Conejo Ruiz in a mismatch, in my opinion. Excuse me. Got some reflux going on. Lemos coming in at 9-1-1. Ruiz coming in at 10-1. Lemos riding a 3-fight winning streak here ever since dropping her UFC debut to Leslie Smith like almost 4 years ago. But she's on a nice 3.5 win streak in the last year and a half. Most recently beat Livia Souza 4 months ago via TKO. Ruiz coming off a successful UFC debut. Let's see. Lemos, the taller fighter, 5'4", 163 centimeters to 5'0", 152 centimeters for Ruiz. Lemos has a reach advantage as well. 65 inches, 165 centimeters for Lemos. 61 inches, 155 centimeters for Ruiz. So here's why I think this is a rematch. Lemos has shown some improvement in her last several fights. Like, she's shown that she's more than just a big, athletic, strong fighter. She has shown some actual skill progression. Whereas Ruiz is literally a one-trick pony. And if she can't get that one trick, I mean, we've seen her struggle. I mean, she struggled against Danielle Taylor 2.5 years ago in Invicta. And I haven't really seen any like improvement or intent to show improvement since then from her. Like, it's just going to be, she's going to try to close, get that head and arm throw. Like, I'm talking like not even like a good technical throw. It's just a basic grab your head, pull you down, pull you over my hips, and then go for the scarf hold armbar. And that's all she does. And I don't see her getting that against a bigger, stronger, more technically skilled fighter in Amanda Lemos. So that's why I think this fight's a rematch. And honestly, Ruiz shouldn't even be fighting a ranked fighter in only her second fight. Beating Cheyenne Bays wasn't that impressive. I think She probably took it because she was the only one willing to fight Lemos. Like, I'm not even that high on Lemos, but she does show a lot of promise. Judy asked why mismatched, so that's why I wanted to explain it. Leon says Lemos gets a W here. I think Lemos has the potential to be a contender at 115. Yeah, possibly. I mean, like I always say, I'm slow to say if someone's a contender or not, but she has shown legit skill progression, so I will give her credit for that. And then the ones everyone waiting for, it's Miesha Tate fight week, everybody. I'm giddy. Like I said in a community post, the last time it was Miesha Tate fight week, I hadn't even started this channel yet. So I'm super excited for this one. I didn't do a preview for this one, like a full preview, probably because I wanted to talk about it on the show, but also just because this one is just such a hard pick. It really is for me. So let's get down into the stats here. Reneau coming in at 9-7-1. Tate coming in 18-7. Reneau riding a 4-fight skid dating back almost 3 years. Most recently fought 3.5 months ago, losing to Miesha Tate via decision. Tate is on a 2-fight skid. Last fought over 4.5 years ago, losing to a decision to Raquel Pennington before, retiring. Reneau is the elder fighter by 10 years, 44-34 for Tate. Let's see. They are the same height, 5'6", 168 centimeters. Reneau has a slightly longer reach, 68 inches, 173 centimeters to Tate's 66.5 inch, 169 centimeters. So the Belizean bruiser, Marion Reneau. Here's how I think of Reneau as a fighter. Like, imagine you're driving a car with like a 5 or 6 speed stick shift. Reneau is basically cruising along at neutral for most of the fight, and then every once in a while, she drops the clutch and shifts into like 3rd gear. And then she starts just moving with some action. But then, like, as soon as her opponent starts to offer some resistance, she drops it back into neutral, if not in the reverse. So it's like, oh my gosh, there's a car coming in the opposite lane. Let me slow down. And that's how Reneau tends to fight. That's basically her fighting tempo in a nutshell. She doesn't like to, get off any shots, really. She'll hesitate to throw. She'll hesitate to do anything. And then all of a sudden it's like, bam, she starts doing something. But then as soon as her opponent offers some resistance, she immediately backs off. Whereas Tate, we have no idea what she's going to look like. I mean, we've seen the pictures. She looks in phenomenal shape, probably better shape than she ever looked, when she was fighting before. But we don't know her full mindset coming in. I mean, she seems to be hungry, or else why come back after 4.5 years? But we just don't know. Because here's the thing. She got her nose broken by Amanda Nunes. And then when she fought Raquel Pennington, she was like afraid to get hit. Like that seriously affected her. And we don't know if she's over that yet. Like she was seriously afraid to get hit by Pennington in that fight. And we just don't know right now if she's over that. We don't know what the training environment is like, because it's just hard to say. And then you have Reneau. She's 44 years old. She's on a 4-fight losing streak. I mean, she could just take a loss here and continue the pattern. Or she could be like that. She could come in super determined to not go out on a loss and to not lose with her son in her corner, because her son is going to be in her corner for the first time ever. So she could come in here super determined to not lose and to win here and go out on that win with her son there in her corner and just come out here and blast Tate, or actually put forth enough effort to get the win here. to me, like as much as I said some of the earlier fights were coin tosses, this one to me is a true coin toss because we just have no idea what Tate is going to look like in the octagon. I mean, looking good, being cut and buffed up is one thing. Once you get in the octagon, those visual muscles don't mean anything. Is the muscle memory there? Is the ring rust there? I mean, ring rust doesn't affect every fighter, but it does affect a lot of fighters, and it affects each fighter differently. So we just don't know. Whereas Reneau is she's Marion Reneau. She's on her way out. She has been for almost 3 years now. I mean, this fight is just very, very tough to call. I don't have a coin on me, or else I literally would flip a coin. So, yeah, I don't have anything to flip. So, honestly, your guess is as good as mine. Am I excited for Miesha Tate to be back? Hell yes. Hell yes. So excited for the return of Cupcake. I wish she would change her name back to Takedown. I like Takedown Tate better than Cupcake, but so excited for Miesha Tate to return because if she wins, this could truly reinvigorate the bantamweight division. She was one of the original stars of this division. She was up there with Ronda Rousey. Rousey versus Tate. Like, that was the big rivalry in women's bantamweight. And with her coming back, she has that star power. She has the look. She has the it factor. With Miesha Tate coming back. And plus, here she is, former champion, coming out of retirement, gets a big win. If she looks really good in that win too, she's immediately right back into title contention. Why? Because of the star power there. And because if you make a statement coming back, it's going to happen. I mean, she could easily take on someone like Yana Kunitskaya next, or Aldana, or Holm, or probably keep her away from GDR. But yeah, with a win, she's probably one more win away from a title shot. Not hard to imagine that at all. So I'm hoping Miesha Tate wins. Nothing against Marion Reneau. Hey, she has been, in the bantamweight division in the UFC pretty much since the beginning. And I hope she does, I hope she continues to do well in retirement. But I got to cheer for Miesha Tate to win. Does Miesha win? I don't know. I mean, that's the mystery of this fight. You got a fighter on a losing streak, entering retirement. You got a fighter coming out of retirement. A much younger fighter, too. But still coming out of retirement. We just don't know. And that's what makes this fight so interesting to me. I mean, not just Miesha Tate coming back. It's all those X factors coming in. So, yeah, I'm just really excited for this one. I hope Tate wins. And like I said, that's nothing against Reneau. Wish her all the best of luck in retirement. But for the sake of the future of this division, we need a Tate win here. So let's take a look at the chat. Ruiz has some kind of color, says Judy. Yeah, she does. She gets it. If she can get it, Santos could be in trouble, but that's a big if. Heavy leather with T versus R. Tate, yeah, both of them pack some punch. Leon says, I'm pumped. I've been a big fan of Miesha Tate. Reneau has nothing to lose. Tate needs to use her strengths, get the takedown, but if this is a striking battle, I think Reneau could get the W. Yeah, I don't think Tate should want to stay in a prolonged battle on the feet with Reneau. Because we've seen what Reneau can do. She broke Yana Kunitskaya's nose. I mean, just shattered it. Leon, it's time to pump it up. Pump it up. Pump it up. Joe Budden. That was like his only mainstream hit. Wasn't Pennington on her team? Yeah, Pennington was on Tate's Ultimate Fighter team. So was Juliana Pena, and Pena ultimately winning it. But that I think that was kind of an awesome factor with Miesha Tate. Like, you know, Raquel Pennington went full circle, ended up beating Tate after a few years after being coached by her. I think that was a cool storyline there itself. And then Tate retired off of that. So it was like kind of like full circle. Like she coached her, and then Pennington improved enough and did enough to fight her and then beat her. It was like really come full circle. And I think that was a big factor going into Miesha's retirement as well. Phil Anderson, I hope Tate's worked a lot on her stand-up. I don't know if her wrestling can sustain her against how much the game has advanced since she last fought. That is very true. I mean, I know Tate has, you know, stayed in shape, not fight shape, but she has stayed in shape, and she has trained a lot. When she was living in Singapore, she was training at Evolve with some of the pros there. So I won't say that she's fallen completely behind, but we don't know how much she's kept up with it. Don't you know, Pump It Up? You've got Pump It Up. Awesome song, one of my favorites. So if Miesha loses here, what happens? That is a good question, Leon. Hopefully she sticks around. I mean, hopefully she sticks around. I mean, she could very well get discouraged and go back into retirement. But she seems to want to really make another go at it. So if she loses, hopefully she sticks around, keeps going, tries one more time at least. Lower ranking, I think. Yeah, definitely lower ranking. I got to pump it up. Galactus, Destroyer of Worlds, or is it Eater of Worlds? Likes Miesha Tate. And then Leon, Miesha was not herself in that Pennington fight. No, she was not. Here's my theory on what happened with Miesha. I think she finally, when she beat Holly Holm, she finally achieved her goal of being the UFC champion. And, you know, some fighters, that's all they want is to be the champion. And then once they achieve that status, for a lot of fighters, they get the title. It's like, boom, that's all they ever wanted was to be the champion. And then it's like, well, okay, now I made my goal. I'm the champion. But now what? Like, some fighters just lose their hunger after that. Like, it's one thing to, you know, like when you're climbing up that ladder and you're a contender and you're a perennial contender like Tate was, you've got that hunger. And then once you reach the pinnacle there, you lose that hunger because, you know, you already reached your goal. And for some people, they want to be a dominant champion. Like, their goal is to be a dominant champion. But for some people, they don't think that far ahead. So they hit that championship status, and like, that's it for them. They reached what they wanted, and then they lose their hunger. And I think that's what happened with Tate. And then she also took on Nunes, and Nunes just demolished her and broke her nose. And she just completely lost all, you know, hunger in the game. Took on that Pennington fight. She probably thought, you know, oh, no, I've still got it. I've still got it. She probably didn't even realize that she didn't have the drive anymore yet. Like, she probably hadn't even really hit her yet. Like, I just don't have that drive. So she took on Pennington, and, like, during that fight, I think she realized, like, I just don't have it anymore. Like, I lost my drive. I lost my mojo, you know. And it just happens to fighters. And I think that's why she retired. Plus, I think she was just that terrified of having her nose broken again. Galactus says, Miesha can literally use the same game plan she did against Holm. Yeah, I think she'll have an easier time taking down Reneau, though. Phil Anderson brings up a good point. Miesha was also in a bad relationship during her last fight. I'm sure that affected her a lot. Yeah, after she retired, she got rid of Brian Caraway. Met that Johnny Nunez, I think is his name. Moved to Singapore, had a kid, moved to Singapore. I mean, she's in a different mindset now. I mean, so hopefully she seems to be in a much better mindset now than she was at the time. And I think, yeah, that getting out of a bad relationship can definitely do that to you. Galactus says, I always hated Brian Caraway. That seems to be a universal opinion. And now he's like, I think he's going to jail for something. Or he's like in trouble with the law, I think. So just seems like an all-around unlikable dude. Anyway, that's really all I have for tonight. You know, the big focus was going to be on, Miesha Tate fight week. I'm excited for it. Like I said, I'm giddy. I'm giddy for the Tate fight week. So anyone else have anything in the chat? So we got 10 people watching. We got 10 likes. Thank you. Thank you all for hitting that like button. Phil says, thanks for the stream. Let's go Tate. Yes, let's go Tate. The bantamweight division needs Miesha right now. I think, like I said, I think she can help reinvigorate what has become like a stagnant and somewhat stale division. Now, the big thing is you got to get rid of someone has to beat GDR and someone has to beat Holly Holm. Because with those two at the top, they're basically like the what do you call that? Like in a bottle. Like they're the bottleneck. Those two are the bottleneck at the top of the division. And like Aldana, they probably could have given Aldana a title shot and then had her bypass Holm, but they didn't. And then Holm beat her. And now it's like, well, now what do they do with Aldana? Because she just came back and beat Kunitskaya. So do they feed Holm or Aldana to GDR now? I hope not. Do they give her one more fight and hope she gets a win and then the title shot? I don't know. I mean, that's probably one of the big reasons why Juliana Pena got to bypass all the other fighters. Not just because of her mouthpiece, but because they also don't want to lose having a fresh title contender as well. So we need somebody to beat Holm. We need somebody to beat GDR or match those two up again in a rematch just to get those two out of the way of everyone else, because right now they are bottlenecking that division bad. And I'm not normally one for skipping over fighters to get a title shot. Excuse me. But when you have those two or two fighters like that just beating up everyone else ranked below them, sometimes you have to have contenders skip over others to get a shot at the title. Even Ronda always said that Miesha should drop Ryan. Yeah, Ronda was probably right. And but then again, everyone also said Ronda should have dropped Edmund, so she never did. Great chat with fam. Thanks. Good night, y'all. Good night, Judy. Leon says, thanks. Have a good night. Fight between them. GDR versus Holm. Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. I think they should do that rematch. And get those two off to the side and get the division going while those two fight each other. Because GDR only fights like once a year anyway. So Aldana versus Tate if she wins. That would be exciting. Because, okay, let's say Tate makes a statement in her win against Reneau. Boom, she's reinvigorated. So you could do Tate versus Aldana, and then the winner of that, hard to deny a title fight to those two. And it's not like Nunez fights all that often. So, Phil Anderson, head movement. Head movement. All right. So, that's it for me tonight. give a shout out to everyone in the chat one final time. Thanks to watching to Leon, Judy, Simba Trey, Phil Anderson. I'm missing someone here. Where is he at? T. Am I missing anyone else? I think that's it. We got all the Galactus. So thanks to everyone watching. Should get a shot at the belt after a win. Not after one win. If she can get 2 wins, then yeah. Leon said GDR said she was going to retire if she loses to Amanda, then didn't. But I like GDR. I like GDR too. It's just she doesn't fight often enough. I mean, she holds down a regular job. So screaming head movement at Nunes versus Holm. Home fans were pissed. LOL. And T with the thumbs up. All right, everyone. Thank you to all who watched. 10 people watching. We got some lurkers, but thank you to the lurkers who watched. Next time, feel free to speak up in the chat. Don't be so shy. If you haven't yet, give the video a like. And while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to WMMA Scene Now, the most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.